Hello everyone, so welcome to today's video. We are doing a massive declutter of my eyeshadow palettes. I have a lot of them. It's kind of embarrassing because some of them are very old and some of them are fairly recent over the last couple of months. So I figured why not kind of share with you guys what I've got, what's got to go. A lot of it has to go. I really want to pare down my eyeshadow palettes to a very manageable, and I guess that's a personal preference kind of thing as far as what's considered manageable. But for me, I'd like to keep a very small stack. I don't want to have a lot of product. I feel like over the last year or two, I have been a little bit more aware of how many palettes I'm buying at once. Some of these are quite old that I've had for some time, that they have just been sitting in a drawer for a very long time, and I think it's time to just discard them and not hold on to them anymore. And I'm trying not to tell myself, well, now that I'm clearing this out, I've got space to put something else in because I don't really want to do that. I want to kind of pare down my collection. For me, palettes is something that I enjoy purchasing because I like having options laid out in front of me. I prefer that over singles and having a bunch of just single eyeshadows in a drawer, or just kind of rummaging around my makeup bag or in my makeup vanity drawer. I like palettes because it gives you options. I can play with color. Like today, I'm wearing blue eyeshadow, aquamarine kind of color to match my shirt. I know, right? Who is she? This is quarantine day 48,257, and I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm going to start with the stack that's on my vanity of palettes that are more recent to my collection, and then I have a little like shelf underneath this desk that has another stack, and those are the older ones. So we're going to get into the more newer ones. So the first one that I'm going to show you is this very tiny little palette. I bought this a few months ago. This is very recent. This is the Tarte Cue the Confetti palette, and I will be keeping this one. I like the soft tones. I think that it just looks really soft and beautiful. They're pigmented, but they're not like overly pigmented where it's just too much for someone who's a beginner. If you like tones like this, I think you will enjoy it. On the Tarte website, they actually have the Cue the Confetti collection that has the eyeshadow palette, I want to say the mascara, and a blush for about $40, $45-ish, somewhere between 40 and 45 bucks for the whole set. And I think that's really reasonable, and I do think that it's a great palette. If you hear any squealing, that's my daughter in her crib playing. I'm watching her on the monitor, and she's playing with her little sound machine. So that's her. So anyways, this is a really good one, and I do recommend this one quite a bit. Love that. So the next one is the So Jaded palette. This is the Kathleen Lights and Colourpop palette, and I bought this a few months back when it released, and I wanted to try the single like pressed eyeshadows from Colourpop because I've never really tried those. I've tried the Super Shock formula, but not the pressed ones, and I really do enjoy it. It's what I used today. I used primarily the blue tones. I have like this really shimmery dark blue on the lower lash line, this aquamarine shade here in the inner corner. I've got this really beautiful blue as my eyeliner, and then I have just a few of the lighter shades in the crease and as my brow bone highlight. And I do plan on keeping this because I like the quality, I like the blendability, I like the fact that it has lots of colors, neutrals, pops of colors, some deep tones. It has two glitters in there, which for me, I really don't use glitter every single day, so I won't use those very often. But as far as the other colors, they're very pigmented and pretty, and that's a close-up of it. It's upside down, but I feel like that's just easier for me to hold. So I do like that. We'll be keeping that one. Whoa. The next one is the Tarte Man-Eater palette. I've had this for quite some time, and this has been a favorite of mine for many months. And it's honestly a really great formula, so I do like that, and they still have this available on their website. Next is the Maybelline Nudes of New York. This one also is fairly recent, and I am very impressed with this. I've talked about this before. It's a really great palette for 12 bucks. I feel like you get a lot of warm tones, so if that is your thing, the warm tones, then you will enjoy this. And for me, I get a lot of use out of it because I like the warm tones, but there are a few cool tones in here as well. So I feel like it's a really well-rounded palette, and it has a good balance of matte and shimmers. So that's a keep. The Man-Eater, I'm going to keep it, but I think after, I'm going to give it a couple more months and then it's got to go because it is getting old. Then this one that's fairly new, it's less than a month old, is my Pixie palette. This is the Pixie by Petra in the Natural Beauty, and this one I got from Target. And this is one that's around 25 bucks, and I've used this in my last few videos. A very cool tone palette. Honestly, it's one of the coolest toned palettes that I have in my collection, so I will be keeping that because it adds a little extra something to my collection, and I do feel like the colors are pretty, they blend well, they're pigmented. The shimmers have that kind of creamy feel even though it's an actual pressed powder. And I do think that the formula does feel quite high-end, so I do like that. If you see a lot of dew, I decided to set my face with a big fluffy brush instead of using my beauty sponge. And I'm using the Halo Glow Powder from e.l.f. and that's what's giving me this glow, and then the highlight, a little extreme, but that is the CoverGirl highlighter. And I feel like I'm super glowy and dewy today, but I'm actually living for it. So I normally don't go for such dewy looks, but I did today again because I don't know who I am. So anyways, back to the palettes. The next one is my Tati Beauty palette. This one I got when it launched, so I think that was October, end of October maybe. And this one I do like. I love the mirror, which all of these that I've shared with you except for the Maneater do not have mirrors. So that is a big, big thumbs up for the brand, and I'm going to hold it upside down. This is of no surprise. I'm sure you've seen this already. I do like the warm tones, the neutrals, the kind of pops of like a raspberry, pinky berry color. I like the dark colors for shimmers and for smoky eyes. It has a beautiful range of glitters, which I, like I said, am not a glitter person to wear glitter every day, but these are actually pretty cool. So basically with this palette, which makes this different than other brands, is the fact that they give you like one color story and then various finishes in that color story. Same thing with the Aura and the Soothe, and the black one is the Memory. That black is my favorite black eyeshadow. It is rich, it's pigmented, and it stays on and it doesn't fade at all. So these are all going to be my keep pile because I really do like them and I do use that. The only one that's going to be on its way out soon is the Maneater, just because I've had that for quite some time. But I am really loving these palettes, and so far all of those formulations in those palettes have been 2 thumbs up. So if you purchase any of those based on my recommendations, I do think that you will be really happy with the quality and the overall look that you will be creating with them. Alright, so next are the palettes that I had on my little shelf underneath this desk that definitely have to go because they're old, and I'm kind of on the fence with some of them, but I'm just going to kind of get into it. The first one is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. This one is quite old. I think it's still available. So if I do feel like purchasing it, because I honestly really did love this. This had been in a favorites multiple times, and so I'm not going to put this around my eyes. And again, I'm holding them upside down so that I don't blind you with this mirror. But the quality is really great on these Tarte eyeshadows. Very everyday kind of colors, very neutral. The next one is the Viseart Neutral Matte. I know for a fact this one is several years old, and I honestly am embarrassed to say that I did not use this to its fullest capacity. I didn't even hit pan on any of them, and this is an $80 palette. So shame on me for doing that. But I did a video on this palette a long, long time ago about all the ways that you can Viseart using this for brows, for eyeshadow, for contouring, for bronzer, even for blush, for setting under the eyes, brightening the skin. There's so many things that you can do with this palette, even fill in your hairline if you wanted to. There's so many uses out of this, and this is why this is such a big staple in makeup artist kits, because of the fact that it has so many great quality colors, formulas, and just finishes. This is the all matte one, and they do have other variations that I've seen on their Instagram page, and I am not going to be buying them because obviously I don't use it and get my money's worth. That's 80 bucks. That's pretty pricey, but I will say I do remember really enjoying this palette quite a bit, so it's a shame that I didn't make good use out of this, and shame on me. Speaking of Viseart, I have 2 of these little Color Theory palettes that are also pretty old. The first one I'm going to show you is the Minx, which is the warm tones, really nice. You have 3 eyeshadows that are shimmers and then 3 mattes in different tones, and I do really like that and appreciate the setup of that. And then the other one is the Cashmere, which is also really pretty, set up the same way, where you have some kind of cooler tones, all shimmers, and then a row of all mattes. And this one I used quite a bit, but obviously not enough to hit pan on any of these. So these I think are going to go. This from Anastasia. This was one that I created myself, so I have no idea what's in it. This is going to go because this is at least 3 years old, if not 4. And these were, I think I got these from Ulta, and this was when you could, or Sephora, whichever one, you could pick the colors, put them in a palette, and be on your way. So I like the whole customization about that. I don't know if they still do that on their website or on Ulta or Sephora, but I didn't really use them that much, so gotta go. The next one is the Shannon Rose palette that I got. This is from Shannon Rose and IGXO collaboration. She is a fellow YouTuber, and this is what the palette looks like on the inside. Pretty big pans. I don't think that they make this anymore, but I do enjoy this quality. I might use this because I think I got this when I was pregnant. So my daughter's almost a year old, so I think I can probably use it and be okay with it. But I do like the packaging with the roses on it. I just got it just to support her because I do enjoy watching her videos. So Bare Minerals Hidden Treasure is the next palette, and it's super reflective. So I'm going to try to show it like this here. Very neutral, very everyday kind of colors. I loved it. One of my favorite colors was the Queen Tiffany in Matte, which is like a taupey shade with a bit of a purpley undertone, and Gemstone and Nude Beach was those three, which happen to be right next to each other. I can see that I use those quite a bit. All right, so we have some more. The next one is the Rimmel London Spice Edition, the Magnifies eyeshadow palette. This one is supposed to be a dupe, I think, for the Urban Decay, is it the Naked Heat, which has all the warm tones on it. And actually, the quality of this wasn't really bad. Honestly, I really did enjoy the looks that I did with this. I just kind of forgot about it. And honestly, it's a lot of warm tones, which I have in a lot of palettes, and I do a lot of warm tones every time I do eyeshadow. So I don't know, for the quality and the price point, it's not bad. So if you're looking for something that is similar to Naked Heat without the price point, check these out because these are quite pigmented. The next one is the Bad Habit Athena palette. I got this probably 2 years ago, and I will show you what they look like. Again, another warm tone palette with lots of deep, kind of vibrant oranges, reds, some shimmers, and honestly, I'm not going to keep this one at all. The next three I'm going to breeze through very quickly because they're all by Too Faced. This one is the Chocolate Bar, the semi-sweet, so gotta go because that's old. The Chocolate Bonbons, really cute, lots of pinky tones, and they're in heart shapes, which if you can find these, I would recommend that one as well. The Too Faced Sweet Peach, that was a really great palette, and there was a whole craze around that, and you can find kind of peachy tone palettes in a lot of brands these days, but I do really enjoy the quality, and I like the whole metal tin of it. But again, didn't hit pan on any of them, and these are quite old, so I really wouldn't feel safe putting these around my eyes. The next one is the Anastasia Modern Renaissance. You've seen this, so I don't even need to go into it too much. I would just show you very briefly what they look like, warm tones, and I did kind of hit some dips in some of them, like Vermeer was one of them, Burnt Orange, Tempura, and Raw Sienna. Those four very everyday, almost blah, kind of nothing shades. Those are the ones that I didn't hit pan on, but I can see the little dip in them. Old, gotta go. And this one, I don't even want to tell you how old it is. It's the Kat Von D Metal Matte Palette. It's too big, it's too clunky, it's just not my style, not my vibe anymore. This one had these kind of colors. So blues, greens, yellows, pinks, a little bronze. It's a no. And then my very last one, which is enormous as well, is the Morphe and James Charles palette. Like, hello. This thing is huge, and I bought this because I wanted something that had everyday colors and then also some pops of colors to kind of get me out of my comfort zone. And I kind of used it quite a bit when I first got it, and I believe I was pregnant, so it's not super old. And then I put it in my drawer, and I just started putting things over it, stacking other products, palettes, and then I just completely forgot about it. The quality is great. Some people like Morphe, some people don't. That's your choice. I don't have a problem with it because it's affordable. They blend well, and I honestly have had a pretty good experience with their palettes. So speaking of Morphe, I have two other things that I forgot to grab. Yeah, I don't see them here. The first Morphe product that I forgot was the original Jaclyn Hill palette that came out when she first launched that, which was 2017, I think. I was in Tennessee at the time, so I think that was 2017. And I really love that palette. It's great, but that one's old. And then the Jaclyn Hill Vault collection, which has many little palettes and different color stories. That one I used quite a bit when I was living in this house, so I don't think that one's that old. I just forgot to bring it into my vanity area. So those are the two that I don't have. The Jaclyn Hill original palette that's white, that kind of looks like this, but in white, That one is going in the trash. The Vault collection, I'm still kind of like, that's my I don't know kind of pile. This one is going to go into my I don't know pile because I'm not quite sure. Will I be getting a lot of use out of it as I think I am? I don't know. And this is huge. Like, this is not travel friendly by any means. And I think that they have, if I remember correctly, they came out with a mini version. So I wish I would have waited and then tried that because it's smaller and just not as clunky. Like, this is just it's too big. Like, again, it's shoved in a drawer and it's staying in a drawer. This will not be out of my vanity because this will take up a lot of space on my vanity, unfortunately. So this might be in my I don't know pile. Alright, and that is it. Those are all of my eyeshadow palettes. It's a lot. I know this video is quite long, but I wanted to kind of speed through this and get through it. Some of these are really great, and I shared with you the ones that I'm keeping, and I think that the keep pile is pretty manageable. I don't think it's ridiculous. I think I can make a lot of use out of them. You will be seeing these in repetitive videos coming up with looks I'm creating because I'm really trying to use these. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to purchase any more eyeshadow palettes because I'm probably going to buy something palette-wise probably in the next month. Who knows? Because that's just my thing. I love eyeshadows. I love makeup. And so if I see something that kind of piques my curiosity, I'm going to try it. So I'm going to wrap up this video. My daughter's getting a little fussy and you can probably hear her. So I hope this was helpful and enjoyable for you. It's a massive declutter. I was pretty cutthroat with it. I'm not making excuses for these palettes. Either you're good or you're not. You stay or you go. That's pretty much it. So I feel really good because my collection, my pile is small. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 palettes. So I think that's pretty good. I think I can make some really good videos with those and use those on my personal time and hopefully put some dips into these. I'm not going to say hit pan on them because that I've never done that because I just love eyeshadows. So I buy tons of them and I try different ones, do different looks every time I do eyeshadows. So I'm really happy about it. I feel better. So I'm going to do this with my concealers, foundations, blushes, highlights, all that stuff. So if you're interested in a specific category for the next video that I do, so just let me know. If you want to do foundations, we can do that. Concealers, highlighters, setting powders, whatever you want to see. I'm eventually going to get to all of those categories and give them their each individual video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I post new videos, which is every week. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. That's kind of where I am pretty regularly and where I kind of put updates on editing, posting, if something is uploading, so you kind of have an idea of what's coming and to be on the lookout for something new. So I hope you are doing well. I hope that you are staying safe and are happy and healthy, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye-bye.